native, that pre-roll might have a different meaning to some viewers out there. Also, if you're like a SoCal resident, especially. Let me just clarify. By pre-roll, I mean like an integrated 60 to 90 second advertisement near the beginning of a video. Okay, moving on. Going back to this now canceled event, though, we can get some more context into why it was canceled and the feedback that they were referencing by taking a look at the Blue Archive subreddit, where the announcement post here is like this dude just saying LOL. Yeah, it's a great start. And we can see one of the top responses here, specifically pointing out Connor and saying Connor is an odd choice. I can see the rationale for the rest, but Connor has always felt like he's on the mainstream side of things in the anime community. I feel they went with people who have not played the game for Twitch drops, simply because it's far easier to play the game for a couple hours as a new player, rather than watch someone who has and is up to date, who only has dailies left. Response reading, they got these people because they got the numbers, and Blue Archive wants the 0.1% of their community to try the game. LMAO. Response there, saying maybe they should actually be choosy with who they pick rather than picking popular people that hate the game and the community big time. And then this one also specifically being about Connor, saying, especially since Connor, is on record hating lollies. This definitely can't end well for both sides, either his viewers or Blue Archive players. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Anytime lolly is mentioned in their podcast or whatever, likely referencing the Trash Taste podcast, he will argue about it being creepy or uncomfortable. And someone else saying, which is rich, considering he started by fan-dubbing Black Butler. And another top comment here saying, instead of sponsoring streamers that actually like the game, like Ramilia from Face Connect, we get 4 popular normie streamers who don't play the game and have fans that call us predators. Another response calling out Connor here saying, yeah, specifically that Sea Dog guy. That Sea Dog guy. I've seen clips of him cringing of the existence of Iramanga Sensei Sajiri figure and mocking his other co-hosts for getting the figure. I just can't find any non-biased take he'll give for Blue Archive that's not written on a script that Nexon prepared. Edit. Here's the video of him just crashing out on his
この足音はしばらくこっちに入っててくれ早く
何ですか
後で説明するから早く
うざいんですけど
油くせ
先輩監禁するつもりだ
違う
先輩監禁するつもりだ
違う部長今日は何か部員が部に来るのに何か特別な理由が必要かいえ
昔の女だなわけないでしょ年上好きなのかな違うまあだから違うって
文化祭くらいは何かやろうと思ってな今年も展示ですよね美術部はお前に任せてある決めるのはお前だ俺は展示にしようと思ってて部長も出品してくれるなら心強いです今日来たのにはもう一つ理由がある最近あまり良くないことを耳にしてな美術部がよからぬ輩のたまり場になっているとお前が人を呼んで騒ぐとは思えないが部室は遊び場ではない
部長さん怖いんですけど
パイセン絞られてんじゃんまあうちらのせいっぽいけど
ごめんよ
生徒会からも注意されていてな美術部員としてのお前のやる気を見に来たんだがここは満件か
Fucking hide in here. Like, do you want to turn the water on? Hey, get the fuck out of here! Can you stay out of the road? Stay out of the road! Can you stay out of the road? Get out of me! Fuck you! Fucking murdering bitch!
Can you get yourself out of the road? Okay. Come here. Come here. I actually have visited Portland. And I travel all across the United States of America, and I try to visit every major city, and I try to visit the smaller cities on top of that. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that this is some of the stuff that I actually seen on the streets of Portland with my own eyes. It's truly a tragedy. Please. Over there, over there.
I love you to the very depth of my soul. I wish havoc and terror upon your soul.
Why so serious?
And you would never, ever even believe that this is a real thing unless you've seen it right here. You would never, ever in a million years actually believe that this is real. If you are outside of the United States of America, and I'm what you're looking at. I ask you what you're doing on the streets.
Yeah, honestly, I am the head of the United States Navy now. I did that whole dance flag thing because I've been training, and I kind of want to do this thing like we go this and do the figure skating. But like I don't know how to get right home. I don't have a house. I'm trying to go to university. I want to just try and vote my. I don't know what I'm trying to do. The bitch fucking home me and fucking tell me this shit.
Are you interested in like a shelter?
But yeah, it's good to everybody. You're both me. You just need to listen to me because I'm cute, and I am Jennifer Foster forever for you. Because we did that. Oh, when you find out I'm knocking on, you can't get over the fact that I am cooler. My favorite brother is the one who rescued you. Who's that?
Can I walk you to the shelter?
Yes, please. Can we go slow?
It's this way.
I'll tell them now. Are you serious?
And you'll take a shelter.
Yeah, absolutely. Every day, if it comes to my grandfather. Okay. I can't believe you didn't know the pastor held me for 4 days because Jeff would stop fucking my own twin sister.
Okay. These people are mentally ill. They're mentally ill. They are not well. And then you combine drugs on top of it, and then we think we can just launder money on top of it and then throw a shelter in there every once in a while. And somehow, some way that's supposed to make America safe again, it's supposed to make America better. And then they reject the help from the federal government. And then Trump said, hey, listen, let's get into it for real, and let's solve for it. But we know that they don't actually want to fix the problem, because keeping the problem this way also keeps the money flowing, and what keeps the money flowing keeps them in power. And so they really just pawns. And it's sad because they're using people in their lives as pawns when we could truly be helping people. And so the whole narrative has changed against the real help and the real accountability, because nobody want to show you and audit the books and show you exactly where the money is going.
I think it's matters when they say, do not fucking like her. Do you really think someone ever hurt my heart when I found out my godmother, Carolina Savage, is Filipino? I see the biggest fight in front of Ronnie. I'm Ronnie. He's dead and he's still like, I'm making it.
It's sad. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, and oh, hi. How do you have public officials that know that this is real? They are aware that this is something that is happening on the streets of Portland. They know that this is a problem. They see this every day and they do absolutely nothing about it. Nothing at all. This is crazy, man. Of all of the places that I visited in the United States of America, and I've been everywhere from the South, Mississippi, I've been all through Florida, I've been to all through the West, Vegas, all up and down California. I'm in California right now. Los Angeles, Skid Row, even Skid.
Could we be looking at the Indiana Bears? That's probably what Kevin Warren wants. Let's talk about it, people. What is going on? Y'all, Fast Force, all back at it with another video. Talking, of course, NFL here, talking about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, guys, please do hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you are in fact notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so we got to talk about this entire stadium issue, okay? So Kevin Warren, if you guys missed it, came out and put out a statement talking about how the Bears are going to be looking at other possibilities for their new stadium besides just Arlington Heights after Illinois state leadership told the team that its proposed stadium in Arlington Heights won't be a priority in 2026, okay? And one of the places that he mentioned was Northwest Indiana, okay? And so, man, oh man, I got a lot of thoughts about this, so here we go. Let me just start by saying this. I despise the idea of the Bears not being in Chicago when you were literally called the Chicago Bears. I believe you should be in that city. I know people are going to bring up, obviously, the Giants and the Jets not playing in New York, even though they're called the New York Giants and the New York Jets. I get that, but I'm like, I don't even like that for them, right? The fact that they play in Jersey, I don't like that. So I don't want that for the Bears, selfishly speaking. And to me, this is just a cat and mouse game of political gridlock, lack of state support here, and some tax disputes. Like, that's what it basically comes down to. So if you guys are sort of confused or not familiar with the situation, the Bears have bought the land in Arlington Heights to build a new stadium. That is already theirs. They have purchased that, okay? So if they're going to look at Northwest Indiana, they have to buy land there as well. So then at that point, it's like, what happens to Arlington Heights? The reason Kevin Warren has come out and said that they're looking, like I just mentioned, into Northwest Indiana is because Illinois state has said that they are not prioritizing the sort of funding of the proposed stadium in Arlington Heights. Like, it won't be a priority for them. Now, why would that be the case? That is because they don't want to give tax breaks to the Bears for this, okay? That's basically what it comes down to. The Bears will not get as many tax breaks as they're looking for in Arlington Heights. And in a place like Northwest Indiana, they could potentially get way more tax breaks. Bringing a quick pause to the video, guys, to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Underdog. Underdog just dropped prediction market spreads, totals, and team outcomes. And the best part, you can combine them with draft games. Underdog. Now back to the video. And this also comes down to the fact that the Bears are one of the quote-unquote poorest ownership groups in the NFL. They might be the poorest. I don't know if it's between them or the Bengals. And so, like, if you were just like a filthy rich billionaire, right, like a Steve Ballmer or, you know, what have you, you just go out and you just fund the stadium your damn self, and you just buy a new stadium and build it. But obviously the McCaskies, their entire net worth is tied to their main asset, which is the Bears. So they do not have, they're cash poor. They don't have that type of funding to be able to fund an entire stadium. So basically, long story short, the Bears want to build a stadium in Arlington Heights, but Illinois is not giving them enough tax breaks that they're looking for. And so they're proposing to look into Northwest Indiana, but they don't have a site there like they already have in Arlington Heights. All of that to say, which is this, okay? Kevin Warren's doing a terrible job of this. I'm sorry, he just is. Like, he was hired for one damn reason, and that's to build a stadium. We still don't have shovels in the ground. We still have all of these disputes, like I said, political gridlock with the state and the Bears, and it's like, Kevin Warren, what are you doing? You have one job, and you're making this as difficult as possible. I don't want to hear from Kevin Warren until he literally says that shovels are going to be in the ground and we're building the stadium on this date. I'm tired of these updates, okay? It's taken away from the product on the field. I want to be talking about the Bears and how exciting things have been going on for them. I don't want to be talking about this damn stadium that seems like it's never going to get built. So that is so frustrating to me.
All right, everyone. Fannie Willis earlier was in a Senate hearing, actually. Yeah, she had to answer to questions with regards to her ongoing legal struggles. Of course, she was a prosecutor down in Georgia, down in Atlanta, against Donald Trump. The problem is that she now has her own particular legal issues, considerable ones. Apparently, she paid almost $1 million to Nathan Wade in order to get laid. That apparently canonically is more or less what happened. I'm just going to put him on the payroll and stuff. And she was telling the Senate, oh yeah, he worked 160 hours a week. Please divide that by 7 and tell me what the result is. It is physically impossible that he worked 160 hours a week. Look, I work a long work week myself. I work much more than 40 hours a week. But at some point, you have to friggin' sleep. 160 hours? You can't possibly do it. It's not even physically possible. I mean, you'd probably die within that first week just of exhaustion alone, let alone the inability to have time to eat any food or even use the bathroom or something like that. I guess you have to piss in your seat, get the food delivered to you, and you work like a 20-hour day, 7 days a week. This is not feasible. It does not make sense. In fact, it's more than 20 hours. That would only be 140, actually, when you think about it. There's no way that he worked a 160-hour week. Now, she can always claim that she misspoke and said, well, no, what I really meant was a 60-hour week. Okay, that's believable. That's perfectly fine. It is possible to work a 60-hour week. I do it myself. Although I suffer from chronic insomnia, so that both helps and hinders in this case. But she said it was a 160-hour week, quite clearly, trying to mouth off against the senator that was questioning her. Nathan Wade did not work 160 hours a week. You billed for 160 hours a week because it got you more money. Apparently, Fannie Willis is so uniquely disgusting, and I mean, I can believe this part of the story I can believe. She's so uniquely disgusting inside and out that you had to pay enormous sums of money, and, because you're billing at hundreds of dollars an hour, you had to bill enormous amounts of money in order to get someone to make sense. They're an A on something that I don't understand. And that's pretty much the job that the Senate gives you. With Fannie Willis,
Avatar Fire and Ash is upon us, but the real nail-biter within Disney right now is Avengers Doomsday, and if it can bring streaming perks as well, like accessing fifth who suddenly saw themselves represented in America is the de facto lead of the movie, Daniel Richtman said on X. Okay, so since Marvel is revealing it themselves, I can also tell you that the first teaser is Steve Rogers focused and his return is confirmed. The reason is to establish him as the lead character in Avengers Doomsday. This is where he should have stopped, but nope, being of the Hollywood bubble, his need to virtue signal took precedence, for he continued. And I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be negative here. I've heard good things about the movie. It's just that, personally, I'm not a fan of this decision. Bringing Steve back? Fine. Making him the focus alongside Doom? That's kind of, But he had even more to say, for he followed that up with, it's like, been there, done that, multiple times. Time to give someone else the spotlight. Plus, we haven't seen these characters since 2019. They had no role in this saga. So to bring them back as the leads in this one feels unearned, again, in my opinion. His opinion it may indeed be, but he did not get much sympathy for it, not even from his own audience, most of whom are not of the Hollywood elite. As was pointed out to Richtman many times over, using many different phrasings, many others were given the spotlight over the past 6 years now, and not a single one of them clicked with the audience, not even Sam Wilson's Captain America or Harrison Ford's Red Hulk, that Marvel had somehow managed to convince themselves that there was some kind of demand or hype for, when there wasn't. The Eternals are an already forgotten punchline. Fantastic Four underperformed in the US and flopped worse than Superman internationally. The Marvels destroyed 3 female leads in one go, and Ant-Man destroyed Kang so badly that Jonathan Majors' private legal issues was an opportunity for course correction that had the powers that be doing cartwheels behind the scenes. As for the multiverse saga itself, it isn't so much a saga as it is a series of consecutive false starts and course corrections that gives the Lecter installments of the Terminator franchise a run for its money. Everyone can see this, apart from those in the bubble, who mostly aren't even aware that they are in a bubble. One, however, is.
So...
I've made it plain before that I like Grace Randolph. Her box office breakdowns are second to none, and however inadvertently it may be, by way of being of the coastal elite, she gives an excellent insight into the Hollywood mindset, or echo chamber, if you will. And most crucially, in the aftermath of last year's election, she came to accept that she and her peers are indeed inside an echo chamber bubble.
Last night someone was like, God, Grace, read the room. And I was like, well, I gotta tell you, this is the first time I've gotten a good look at the room, thanks to how misleading I think social media and the mainstream news has been. It's like last night someone turned the lights on and you're like, holy shit.
But how could this be? How could the good people in Hollywood not realize what is outside of the city limits?
Social media is a very dangerous echo chamber, thanks to the algorithm.
That in no time flat, and that is no small feat. And if you think I'm exaggerating here, then consider all the billions upon billions that Hollywood has flushed down the drain of mostly their own money, and all the countless people in the industry that lost their jobs because of it, up to and including studio executives, decision makers, and head honchos. Sure, some may have had ulterior motives, but most really and genuinely thought that they were doing what the audience wanted, and that the audience would grow because of it, because they were in an echo chamber where their own ideology was enforced and reinforced back to them over and over. And every flop was treated as an anomaly, right up until the compound effect was so catastrophic that the kind of course correction we're seeing in Doomsday is the only remaining option, because now it's a matter of survival. And that is where the MCU is right now. It's holding on for dear life, trying to survive, because it isn't making money and hasn't for years. And even then, the mind virus is so strong that even Grace carries some of it.
But I think that we might have overcorrected a little bit. This is an extremely male-centric cast. And I think not only is it male-centric, but it doesn't have any female characters.
Fran Drescher, maybe with a sprinkling of influencer titania, and have them all flip off the audience in the middle of the movie? If they were to do what Grace suggests here, do something extra with the movie to make it appeal to women and the gays, to the wicked audience, then I submit that for every additional ticket bought for that reason, 1,000 who otherwise were going anyway would sit the movie out and wait for it to either get streaming or the high seas. And we have years of data now, which is pretty darn clear that I am right about that. Because making overtures to appeal to specific niche audiences is how all of Hollywood got into this mess to begin with. What Hollywood is only beginning to learn, but has to fully accept, is that inclusion is exclusion. The frustrating thing here is that Hollywood already had this down, and none more so than Marvel Studios when it was under Ike Perlmutter's control. As we have covered before, he laid down the Marvel Creative Committee, which ensured that everything that came from Marvel Studios was toyetic, that is, translatable into toys that would appeal to the mass retail market as well as hardcore collector market. Because if the movies did that, they would appeal to the entirety of the built-in male target audience as well. On top of that, the movies had to be interconnected, and most importantly, they had to be good, because if they were, they would appeal far beyond the target audience as well, which indeed they did. And that is why a franchise aimed at a male target audience appealed to everyone, everywhere, because it also didn't exclude anyone. Only when Feige disbanded the checks and balances and began making explicit overtures to include other audiences did the MCU, however inadvertently it may have been, become exclusionary, just like everything else that received the same treatment. The challenge for Disney now is that the Marvel Creative Committee and the checks and balances that came with it are still dismantled. They're trying to win the audience back by winging it. Towards the end of the so-called multiverse saga, the MCU found itself in the same position as the Star Wars sequel trilogy did by the end of The Last Jedi, with no villain, no storylines left to explore, and no leads that the audience found compelling. For Star Wars, that forced a third-act new beginning just to conclude the trilogy, and that is parallel to what we are seeing with Doomsday, a whole new beginning just to close out the multiverse saga. That's how badly they ran this into the ground. Let's just hope that unlike Star Wars after the end of the sequel trilogy, Marvel is still left with a path forwards after this batch of Avengers movies. Do you think they will be able to win back the audience, even if they have to offend the sensibilities of some of the Hollywood bubble dwellers in order to do so? Or is it too late and the damage already too great? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. And before you go, remember to protect your online privacy. So use our link surfshark.com/midnight or
I'm about to cover some nuclear level drama that is probably going to get me in a lot of trouble. And you know what? I'm still going to talk about it because it is probably one of the best representations of gatekeeping I think I have ever seen for anything in recent years. For anime, manga, gaming, etc. It is just insane level of gatekeeping that honestly, I can't help but respect. Like massive respect to the Blue Archive community for doing what they did in the last 24 hours. So I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let's explain what's going on here. So this is a now deleted post from the official Blue Archive social media account where they were announcing that they were going to be doing an influencer campaign with these 4 individual content creators to sponsor Blue Archive. And after a lot of backlash, for instance, the entire Blue Archive community was furious with this announcement. Eventually, Blue Archive was forced to make this official statement. Hello, Sensei. This is Blue Archive. We sincerely apologize for any confusion and concern caused by the Blue Archive influencer campaign. We take the valuable feedback you have shared with us very seriously. After eternal review and discussion, we have decided not to proceed with this influencer campaign. Moving forward, we will strive to communicate in ways that better align with the direction of Blue Archive and the expectations of Sensei. We would like to sincerely thank all Sensei who continue to support Blue Archive and share their valuable feedback with us. We will do our utmost to deliver a better experience and continue improving Blue Archive. Now, when I first read this, I was still pretty confused. I was like, okay, they obviously canceled the influencer campaign, and the Blue Archive community is extremely upset about the individuals that were chosen for the influencer campaign, but I was still like, okay, but why? Well, I went to Twitter and I actually asked this question. I was like, okay, completely out of the loop, what exactly happened? And more or less, I got the same response over and over, and I feel like this picture more or less really summarizes it perfectly. Blue Archive announces collaboration with streamers who call the players PDFs. Fans get outraged. They cancel the collaboration immediately. Don't let anyone tell you that your voice doesn't matter, because it does. So let me get this straight. Blue Archive, a very well-known and controversial gacha game that is known for its lolly characters and gatekeeping community, they decided to choose influencers that hate Blue Archive, will call the community PDFs if they like lolly characters, and are unable to separate fiction from reality. No wonder the community was crashing out. No wonder it got so bad that Blue Archive had to make an official statement saying they're canceling the influencer campaign. Because it's like, yeah, if I want to be honest, if I was aware of this and fully was aware of this, I would be on that side too. I would be outcrying and be upset too, because it's like, why the hell would you collaborate with individuals that don't just hate your game, don't just hate the content within your game, they will openly mock your community and also call people PDFs for playing your game. I mean, why would you ever want to collaborate with individuals that would do something like that? So yeah, it's a no-brainer why the community for Blue Archive was crashing out when that announcement got made. And I'm just gonna say, good on the Blue Archive community for really just speaking up. Oh, fiction is fiction, separate fiction from reality, it's not real, it's not harming anyone, it's just pixels. I advocate for freedom of expression within art, and just because it makes you feel uncomfortable, it's icky or whatever, your voices can be heard and can...
Moveset-wise and stats-wise, the last couple on this team, they did just nerf, I say they, but I'm on the council, but we did just nerf Mega Zero Aura and no longer has Iron Fist, but we're using Choice Band, regular Zero Aura, Close Combat, Play Rough is actually chunking through Pokemon like even Annihilate, Plasma Fist has no switch-ins outside of the ground types, which Play Rough deals with Garchomp, and Close Combat deals extra, then strong knockoffs as well, especially with Spike Stack from Garchomp, and of course, the Air Balloon is now in the metagame, so we have special defensive Heatran with Flame Body to deal with Genesect, but also it gets up the Stealth Rock, Magma Storm traps, and also taunts, trying to prevent Galarian Slowking from going for Chill Reception, and because we're special defensive, we can also even beat Slowbro if we get a little bit of damage on it, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's jump right into the battles. Some of the items that we're most likely gonna banning is gonna be Light Clay, which I'm assuming my opponent is going to have on this squad. SD, Kalisabla go stupid, same thing with Scarf U. But yeah, Light Clay is obviously a little bit annoying and also just problematic in general. I'm leading off with Zero Aura as I lead off with Slurpuff. Scarf U. But yeah, Light Clay is obviously a little bit annoying and also just problematic in general. I'm leading off with Zero Aura as I lead off with Slurpuff. And I'm gonna go right for the It's a little bit annoying because it's gonna be Sticky Web on this guy, but I mean we defog very easily on this team. We defog pretty easily. I'm gonna go for knockoff. It is gonna give them their Unburden, but I basically didn't want to bring out. I didn't want to bring them down to Sash and have them Endeavor something. I'd rather be able to go U, and this is amazing because we can go for a nice and easy skull Ice Beam here, doing massive damage to Garchomp. And I can lay up a Future Sight as I tank this Draco with Daze. That looks like Life Orb. Exactly. Future Sight comes out, so we're gonna be able to hit Sarah Ledge, most likely if he wants to come out, or Baxcalibur. We have the ultimate Baxcalibur answer in Golisopod as Rotominta coming out there. If he wants to Volt Switch him at Shadow Ball as well. Do I care about webs? Truly, not really. I think I just go Heatran. Oh, is this Mega Meowstic? Oh, that's amazing to me. So we tank that for days, and then Future Sight's gonna do a lot of damage to Rotom in the following turn, or we're gonna get Rocks up right here and they end up stacking Slurpuff. So that's a good play too, but we do damage to Baxcalibur with this if it's running loaded dice, and I think their Golisopod actually KOs everyone on their team. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think Golisopod KOs everyone on their team. I don't even need Heatran anymore. I have no items, so Sarah Ledge can't do much as well, and again, Golisopod just doesn't care. It just truly doesn't care. I don't think Sticky Web are gonna matter. We're also currently, this is gonna be mega, I'm not gonna let it sit up for free. We're also currently top 10 on the ladder right now, so we're fighting for obviously a bit more. If I Earth Power here, I put them in range of Draco anyway. I'm just going to Earth Power as they go for their own, and then I can go Latios and drop a Draco on this guy. I think that is my play. Alternatively, I think I bring out you, just because I want you to resist Stealth Rock later. I Mega Evolve and I go right for Iron Head. It's okay if Rotom comes out. Basically, I want to get my regen and I want to start resisting the Stealth Rock shot. That does so much damage, man. That's crazy how much that did there. So yeah, now we can resist and switch in later to Meowstic. We'll be good in the back, so we really don't have to care too much. We would love to get up Hazard. We want to deal with Sarah Ledge, but we do have you to deal with Sarah Ledge as well. I think we just go Zero Aura, which is going to be pretty slow due to this, but if they go for like Wisp or Shadow Ball, yeah, I was about to say we tank and we can go for strong knockoff here. Getting rid of Rotom, I could have Sucker Punched it, right? But I didn't want to Will-O-Wisp me if they did have it. So I assume maybe Excalibur comes out. Nice. They're going to Dragon Dance here. I'm going to do a lot of damage to them. If they don't Dragon Dance, I get Iron Head off after. And only Sarah Ledge is the problem. Yeah, I do a lot of damage here with Knock. Beautiful. They reveal Ice Shard. We can go Galizabot, go right for an Iron Head. Eat this Earthquake for days. There you go, Mega Galizabot. Good job. I assume they go for Expanding Force here. I'm going to also assume that I tank it, but I'll swap once as they go out into you. Future Sight doesn't do a lot. I'd rather just let them knock me out there. We get to go you and put Earthquake for free. And if they go back out to Meowstic, they die. Also, Meowstic will never KO Galizabot, so they literally have to expand force. Just make a ball. I don't think they even have Shadow Sneak. It's interesting that they have Meowstic, but then they didn't have they had Ice Shard and things like that too. So I guess that's why they want to do it. But anyway, eat this up, and all we've done is click Iron Head. Homie takes 32, man. Beautiful. All right, so Galizabot did great in that first game, and yeah, let's get into the game. We'll be right back. All right, everybody. Before we actually continue with this video, I just want to give a big shout out to Extra, who sent me their wallet and their travel pack. Extra is known for their trackable wallets. They're extremely slim and can hold over 12 cards. I think one of the coolest parts is that you can access all of your cards with the click of a button, and even lock them back in after when you're done. The Extra wallet comes with a solar-powered tracking device that will allow you to find your wallet when you pair it with your phone, which can easily fit on the back of the wallet. Extra also sent me their vacuum packing bag, which is perfect if you want to save space while traveling, especially when going to a VGC event. The Travel Pack Vacuum Kit basically triples your space by compressing your clothes. It comes with a portable rechargeable air pump that can allow you to easily compress the bag, while the bag itself keeps your clothes dry and odor-proof. So if you want to pick up the Extra wallet, their Travel Pack Vacuum Kit, or anything on their website, you can use code POKEMMD to get up to 64% off. I'll give a big shout out to Extra for sponsoring this video, and let's jump right into the battle. All right, I mean, this looks really good for Gliscopod, right? Just SD looks crazy. I think they do like 70% to Genesect plus 2, so I want to keep that in mind. We're going to lead off with Latios. If they lead off with Garchomp, I get a very, very free Draco. Like, they obviously have Glow King. I'm going to drop a Draco. Yeah, especially because like, they can teleport out to Hoopa, which is something I want to keep in mind. So we're going to make the offensive play and go Zero Aura. Oh, I'm okay with this. I'm going to play rough here because I'm Choice Band. Unfortunately, don't get that there. We're going to go out to Slowbro now in the Future Sight coming out. As they Mega Evolve, they go for Body Press. I anticipated something like that. Perfect. What we can do now is we can bring out you here and actually go for Spike. Now, the Spike is going to open up our Gliscopod in game a ton. Beautiful Glow King play. I'm going hard into Zero Aura. Great Ice Beam from the opponent. I want to go out to Heat right now. And I'm going to Magma Storm on Garchomp. Oh, this is amazing because this is going to put it... Oh, and I land too, which is phenomenal, right? So I'm just going to Earth Power here because they can only Dragon Tail or Flamethrower to break my sub. And if I get rid of Garchomp, I can get rid of the hazards. If you go for Spike, I mean, I'll easily be able to defog with my Latios, so I'm okay with this. Hoopa comes out. 7 mana, I have no switch-ins to. We do want to keep you alive for Genesect. We want to be smart into Genesect, especially because it could be choice in some sort of way. I think I just end up going out into my Garchomp here on the Hyperspace Fury. Oof, did a good chunk, buddy. Did a good chunk there. Let's go for Earthquake. Nice and safe. And now Genesect has put itself in range of Suck. Oh my god, it's in range of everything. It's in range of everything. Only put itself in range of everything. Oh no. Unfortunately, that happens. We're going to attempt to go for a Magma Storm here, which doesn't follow you, but it is what it is. They Drain Punch me there. Maybe they'll get burnt. Nope. Gonna bring out you. Gonna go right for SD with the Gliscopod here. I think they have to respect that. And while they can't